Right.
Hi, welcome to, I was going to call it the spring edition, but as we're rapidly heading for the summer solstice, it won't be long before it's summer. But anyway, and when it is, it'll be too hot up here to do much at all. But, gonna run a few trains for you, and gonna show you one or two things we've been working on, a bit more on the riverbed, and we're going to do a little thing with point rodding, which I know a lot of people think of and look at in horror. Oh, point rodding. And I sort of not too bad. I mean, when I started my career on the railway many years ago, back in the early 1970s, I was a signalman at a place called Richborough Sidings, which handled oil trains for a power station. But it was a wild and lonely place. They didn't call it the Richborough Triangle for nothing. You went out there and disappeared. But so, I mean, I dealt with point rodding every day. Good idea how it works. So I'm confident that I'll be able to show you how to lay model point rodding. There you are. I've committed myself. Right, so yeah, let's get on with it. The important thing is, let's run a few trains.
Still thicker in the central road.
A small step. Nigel's been working on the fence posts, and as we said before, they are matchsticks with cotton. Why spend a lot of money? I hate spending money. We've started getting the riverbed into place. As you can see, it's now out as far as it's going to be. We've plastered the sides. We've used some brown watercolour paint, and what we're going to do now is add a little bit of colouring down the middle, at the sides too, just to make it look a bit more riverbed. Then when we've done that, we've got to put a piece across the front to seal it, and then we will start pouring resin on, water resin. And that's a horrible job, sticky stuff, and it takes forever to go off, but we'll get it done. Then we can start putting in the reeds and all the other bits to make it look like water. Then what we're going to do, as we get right the way down to the edge, over here we'll start to have a bit of sand mixed with it to make it look as if it's going into like sand dunes on the edge of the river. And a little bit of, I've got some ideas which I'll keep to myself for the moment, just some nice little bits and pieces to go on here. But as you can see, it is coming along, and it's a reason to get me up here in the summer, even though it's going to be very, very hot up in this top room. But we'll keep you updated. Okay, let's talk about point rodding and signal wires, etc. All your points, correction, in the days of steam, most of your points were operated by rods from the signal box. Most of your signals, being 7-4 signals, were operated by wire. A little bit different now, of course. You've got all your points are on point motors, but we're not in modern here, we're in the 50s where things were still civilised and operated by rods and wires. Okay, if you want to fit point rodding, there are various ways. You've got the company that do a lot of the point motors, DCC concepts. They do all your various point rodding and cranks that work, but in my opinion they're very, very expensive. Pico Wills do a set of point rods and cranks. The only thing is with these, they're non-working, but this is what we're going to be looking at. Also, there's a company called 3D printers, and if you have signal wires, I don't know if you can see that, but they are pulleys where your points are operated by a crank. Your signal wire will come out the signal box and round a pulley before going off to the signal. Now, I'm taking it that most of you know how a signal box operates with levers. If you need any more information on it, there are two wonderful books. Southern Signals by Mr. Pryor, spelled slightly differently to me, and Great Western Signalling. These are two fabulous books, and they're probably a little bit hard to get hold of now. Unfortunately, if you're northeastern or Midland, I can't help you, but these are very good. In the signal box, you've got your lever with a catch. You release the lever but with the catch, and you pull it over. Now, most people have seen a signal lever and where it goes down into the floor, and most don't realise that that lever goes an awful lot further than that. I actually have one downstairs. Oh, I actually got two downstairs, as you'll see in this photo. And that those levers came from the old Margate signal box, and I got them when the box was pulled down. Now, okay, so you can see that the end of the lever, or on the lever, there are a series of slides that fit into bars, and this is all your interlocking. So unless you've got the correct combination of levers pulled, you can't pull others, which prevents collisions, etc. with signalling. It's quite complicated, and you have to learn as signalman what you can pull to get something else. And when I was a signalman, it took a lot of weeks for me to learn the particular signal box I was in, and that's all, you know, for safety. Okay, let me show you these Wills Pico pointer rods. Now, they are very fine. You have to cut them out with a knife and glue them with a liquid poly, and I'll start here, and you can see there is a point rod. That's your main rodding that runs along the side of the track, and it's on what they call a dolly, and that's the piece that the rod slides in. When you pull the lever, it slides in that, and these go all the way along the track to the point you want to operate. And in the kit you can actually join these together to make more than one rod. Say for instance you've got 2 points, then you would have more than one rod at the time. you also get, find something, these are the pieces that, for instance, when it comes out of the signal box, you adjust the height up to the dolly alongside the track, and you have cranks for changing direction. There are your angled cranks, so when you push it changes direction and moves in another way. I'm sorry if this sounds a little bit complicated. In the middle of a point, and it's something that's not shown on a model railway very often, and I'll show you on here. Let me just get these out the way. I'm not doing this very well, I do apologise. On a real point, you would have this in the middle, and what it does, it has a bolt, it's a rod that goes into a bar here. It's called a point lock. So before you can move that point, you have to pull the bar back, then you can pull the point over, then the bar goes back in, and it goes into a notch in the bar. What it means is that it stops that point from being moved until you want it to. It's a lock, it's a point lock, and all mainline points have got them. So to explain that again, the first thing you would do if you wanted to move that point, you would withdraw the point lock bar, you would slide the point over, and then that bar would go back in that way. So again, then it's stopping the point from moving when the vehicles are travelling over it. It's another aspect of safety that isn't mentioned very often or shown on a model railway, but you can do it with these. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut some of these out, and they're very fiddly, and I'm going to take some from the signal box over here, from here where they come out of the box, and I'm going to run some up to this point here. I'm going to fit the point rodding to control this point, and I'm going to fit the rodding that comes through back for the point lock. Okay, now that's going to take a bit of time, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to do that for our next film in a couple of months' time, and get it all put in nicely, and then I will show you it and explain to you exactly how it would operate on the real thing. The other thing I'm going to get, something they don't do in the model world. You have rods to operate a point, but you have wires to operate your signals. So you would have a wire that comes out of the signal box, and that would run through pulleys that hang from a post. This is actually marked LNER, but they were the same. These posts would actually run alongside the track, spaced out, and your signal wire would run through there on the pulley. So when you pulled the lever in the signal box, it went round one of the pulleys, and it would run off up the track until it got to here. Then it would go out to the signal arm. Obviously when you pulled the wire, the signal would come off, whether it went upwards or down for the Great Western. And when you put the signal arm, you put the lever back in the signal box, the wire went slack, and a counterweight would return the signal arm back to danger. So I know it sounds really complicated, and I do apologise, but I'm going to make some up myself for the next film, and I'm going to get a lot more put in for you the next time we meet. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you understood some of it. As an ex-signalman, I know exactly what I'm talking about, but perhaps maybe a little bit complicated. But you know, if you need any more information, either please drop me a line and I'll try and help you, or get hold of one of the books on signalling, and a number of them around, which will give you a bit more information. Anyway, until we meet next time, I hope you enjoyed what we've shown you, and we're finished with a few more trains running around. And take care, have a good summer, and travel on plenty of trains. It's great fun. Say bye, Nigel.
Bye.
Bye bye.